first part, we're just trying to figure out what the velocity equation is and what the position equation is. Based on this, it's one-dimensional, right? It's only moving on in the x direction. So remember, we've done this before. We have position or displacement, we have velocity, we have acceleration. If we want to move this way, we need to take a derivative. And if we want to move this way, we take the integral. Pretty straightforward. So then when I'm looking at this, if I want to figure out what my velocity is, then I take the integral of negative 18 sine 3t dt. And again, like we talked about, if I'm moving from acceleration, which might be measured in meters per second squared, and I multiply by time unit, then I've moved into meters per second, which would be a velocity. So it's very straightforward which way we want to do this. So I have this situation, I have the negative 18 sine 3t, and then that's divided by 3. Oops, sorry, sine. The antiderivative of sine is a negative cosine. Okay. So I get cosine, I divide by 3, I get 6. So I should have this plus c. Right? So this is my velocity. But I want to figure out what c is. And to do that, I'm going to use this fact that I know when I put v of 0, it's equal to 6, which is equal to 6 cosine 3 times 0 plus c. So cosine of 0 is 1, 6 times 1 is 6, and so I would have a plus 0, so c must be equal to 0. So v of t is just my 6 cosine 3t. If I want to find my x value, my displacement, or position in this case, I'm going to take the integral again of 6 cosine 3t dt. And when I do that, I get, bring out the 6, the antiderivative of cosine is sine, and then I have to divide by the 3 here. So I have 6 divided by 3, that's 2 sine 3t plus c again. And so I have that plus c. So I'm going to do the same thing again. x0 is equal to 4, which is equal to 2 of sine 3, 0 plus c. Sine of 0 is 0, so then c must be equal to 4. Right? So then I have this situation where I have 2, 3t plus 4. Okay. So this is my equation that I'm going to figure out what number 2 is based off this. And what I want to do, of course, is find the maximum value of my displacement or my position. So the maximum value comes from the derivative. So now I take the derivative. Now I can do this. Obviously, we see this pattern, right? I just took the integral. I'm going to take the derivative, but we're going to deal with that. So that part's gone. I take the derivative, and I get 2 times cosine 3t, and then I take the derivative of that. So then I'm here. And magically, I'm back where I was before I took the integral of the velocity, right? Which is convenient. But that's, I want to find a critical point, so I set that equal to 0. Okay. So now when I set this equal to 0, I have to find out, well, if I divide by 0, then cosine 3t, where does cosine 3t equal to 0? Well, that's where 3t equals pi over 2, right? Because I want, another way to say that is, if I took cosine inverse of both sides, then I'd have 3t equals where the cosine inverse is equal to 0. So that's pi over 2, and we're between 8, so then it's also, maybe, what is that, 3 pi over 2? No, that's negative. That's 0 again. Wait, pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, right? Okay. So where those equal 3t, so I divide by 3, get pi over 6, and I get pi over 2. So those are the t's that I should be the farthest, right? Or these are my critical points, I should say. Then what I can do is, like I always do, I put them on my number line. I have pi over 6, I have pi over 2, and I look for some value that's less than that. This is my next prime. So maybe I put in 0. If I put in 0 here, I get 6. That's a positive number. If I put in something else, pi over 4, maybe. Something that makes this easy, pi over 3. But if I put in pi over 3, I get cosine of pi, which is negative 1. Negative 1 times 6, so that's a negative there. And then if I put in something like pi here, if I put in pi, I get pi over, that's harder, but what is cosine of 3 pi? Cosine of 3 pi would be the same as cosine of pi, right? So it should be negative again. Maybe I didn't do that right. That doesn't seem quite right. If I put in what? Say 2 pi over 2 pi over 3. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. So I have increasing to decreasing. So that looks like a max. And then I have decreasing to increasing, and that looks like a min. So then where is it the farthest? Well, it should be the farthest where t equals that.